Well, folks, welcome to Raven Rock State Park. I'm gonna take a break from riding and go and do a little bit of hiking now. I'm gonna lock up the camper. I've been here since the first of the week, and got here the first night. It was 18 degrees. It's been really cold, and now it's 70 some degrees. I'm gonna go take a walk and get away from the books and get away from the writing for a while. There's a cool game trail, I guess you would call it, that's back over this way, and I'm gonna take my phone and the GPS app and see if I can't connect over to the tributary creek and cross it and get to the Raven Rock Loop Trail. This state park is named after the Raven Rock. It's about a 90-foot tall piece of granite that overlooks the Cape Fear River, and it's right on the divide between the coastal plain of North Carolina and the Piedmont of North Carolina. So it's really pretty spectacular views. You almost think you're up in the foothills of the mountains. So I'm going to take you along, and we're going to go for a little bit of a walk. I'm leaving camp behind, and this is the new camp. I'm still getting used to the new camper. It's been really, really quiet here. This state park is, I don't know, 500 some acres, and tonight there's one more person camping here other than the host. This week I've been the only person camping here. So it's like I've got 500 acres all to myself. It's been nice, it's been a little lonely, it's been quiet, had some rain, had some cold, gotten some stuff accomplished. Now I'm gonna go get a little bit of exercise, so come on in, let's go for a walk together, okay? This isn't marked on the map as an actual trail, but I noticed it the other night. I took a walk for a while, and it looks pretty clearly marked, and I followed it a good ways, and it goes down and intersects the campground loop trail, and then that trail goes down. There's a name to the creek, I don't remember what it is, Flat Creek or something like that, that flows into the river. The Raven Rock Trail is on the other side of that creek. So I'm not sure if I can get there from here or not, but to go over to the Raven Rock Trailhead, I have to go out of the campground loop and around to the other side of the park, and they lock all these gates up at 6 p.m. and that's it. You don't get in, you don't get out. So I don't really want to take a chance that the truck's going to be over there and then I have to hike in 1.5 miles to get back to the camper. So I'm going to use my GPS app and do a little boondocking. I haven't done this since I was in my 20s, so hopefully I'm not going to get lost. It's the perfect time of year to be hiking down here in eastern North Carolina. I've seen so few people this week here. This time of year, this place is just amazingly quiet and empty. And for studying and writing and getting ready for this Lenten course, this is exactly what I was hoping for. I've spent the last 2.5 days sort of wrapping my head around what I hope we can accomplish in a Lenten study. I started yesterday evening actually laying out for the particulars of what I think is going to be a Wednesday night study for both Christ and Mulberry churches. And we're going to invite other churches in the presbytery that want to take part. I'm trying to make it not just a study. We're basing it off of Bolsinger's book, Canoeing the Mountains, but I'm literally planning to use that just as the starting point, a springboard, that as we get closer to Easter, we actually use that to make some definitive plans for new ministry, transformational stuff that we try to put into action at church after Easter. I'm going to call it 40 days of discernment. I've been telling both churches, you know, it's clear culture change is upon us. It's clear Christendom is coming to an end. The Reformation, as it was 500 years ago, is done. We are into something different, and yet we're still plodding along in church like it's the same thing it was back in the 1950s or 1960s, and it's not, and it never will be again, and we need to know that. So I'm kind of telling both of my churches, folks, it's crunch time. The clock is ticking, especially since, you know, I'm right at retirement age. So they need to think about what happens after me anyway. And I'm hoping we can come up with some sort of concrete, definitive plan to start praying about, put into action, do some experimentation like the book talks about. Adapt or die is one of the things that Bolsinger steals from the movie Moneyball. And I think we need to start taking that very, very seriously. So I've talked to the presbytery staff, and I'm going to be talking to the Ministry Resource Committee about making this available to other churches that may be in the same place. So Wednesday night, probably at Christ in their fellowship hall, but I think we're going to try to figure out how to live stream it as well. I hope it ends up being something more than just our two churches. I don't know. We'll see. It's going to take a lot of work, and it's going to be intimidating to a lot of us in some ways, and I know that going in, but I can't help but think again, the timing is pretty critical. I don't believe in coincidences, and I think maybe we can use the time between now and March 31st on Easter Sunday and really start to ask the questions, what is possible for us, small churches that we are? What's not possible? Who does God want us to be? What does God want us to give up? What are some of the fictions of the past we keep butting our heads against? So we shall see if I don't fall and break a leg while I'm back here. So now I'm actually headed downhill. It's closing in. You can tell the brush is getting thicker. And as I go down, you get more greenery and more plants and trees that grow in wetter conditions. So it's becoming pretty obvious that I'm getting close to the water source. I mentioned earlier what a contrast it is. I'm wearing a long sleeve shirt, but I've got it rolled up. I'm wearing shorts and I'm sweating. The temperature when I left the camper was 69 degrees. I've got all the windows in the camper open, and I'm sweating, and it's a beautiful, almost spring-like day. And just 48 hours ago, it didn't get above freezing all day long. It is really bizarre weather we're having right now. But you can certainly tell that it's winter. You know, everything is dormant. You can see a long way through the underbrush. And I keep stumbling because there's so much leaves on the ground that I'm not seeing some rocks and logs and things like that. But it's a great day for a hike. Oh, I'm going to turn the camera around. We're coming up to the bike trail now. This is the bike trail that's got white circular blazes to it. Okay, I'm looking at the GPS and I'm actually farther to the north and the east than I thought I was. So I'm gonna have to turn around and go back the other way, maybe a third of a mile or so to get close to where it goes over and crosses the creek to the other one. I'm glad I stopped now. I'd have gone a lot farther than I needed to. Okay, so we got to go back this way now and see when we get to the point where the two trails and the creek are close together. Boy, I'm pretty close. Doggone, I'm like really close actually. Let's find a decent marker. Maybe this little curve, and then we'll strike out for the creek. Okay. Yeah, we're like right in the center of this curve in the trail. There's a marker up there. So this is where I need to be going. Absolutely, truly boondocking here, but it shouldn't be very far. That may be the creek right down there in front of me. And if that is, if I can find a way across without getting soaking wet, then on the other side I should be dead on the Raven Rock Loop Trail. So that means I can get to Raven Rock and back without having to drive and leave the campground. Here's the creek. It's not a real big creek. It may be a deep creek, so I guess I'm gonna have to find a way across it. Okay, let's find out. Yeah, this is like real marshy here, so obviously this floods. All right, we can find a way across. There's a log going across it right here. Not a very big one, but this may be my ticket. May very well be my ticket. Okay. At the creek, and the GPS has served its purpose. So, see if we can't get across right here. This looks like it's perfect. All right, Raven Rock side of the creek. Now all I need to do is find some landmark. Oh, I don't need to find the landmark. I'm on the trail. The trail's right here. Unbelievable. And there's a little bridge that's my landmark. How perfect. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So if I come back this way, then I come across this bridge here. And I shut across at B1, Raven Rock Loop Trail. I'm where I need to be. It's like 10 to 4. So 2 hours of daylight. And this is only like a 1.5 mile trail, I think, total, the whole loop. So plenty of time before it's getting dark. I want to get back to the idea of the Lillington study. Todd Bolsinger's book, Canoeing the Mountains, gives us the controlling metaphor. Lewis and Clark's expedition in the early 1800s was to find a water route to the Pacific Ocean. That's what Thomas Jefferson charged them with. And they traveled all the way up the Missouri, all the way up Mississippi, Missouri, to the Missouri headwaters in Montana, and reached the headwaters, walked up to the top of the hill, and then it hit them that there was nothing in front of them, not a water route to the Columbia River in the Pacific Ocean. Instead, there was nothing but mountain peak after mountain peak after mountain peak, all covered in snow, as far as the eye could see. And that was when it hit them, this isn't possible. How do you canoe the mountains? You don't. What Lewis and Clark did was adapt. They traded the canoes for snowshoes. They stopped paddling and started hiking. And there's all kinds of metaphors blended into that they were a success. They were two men, Lewis and Clark, but we always speak of them as one, Lewis and Clark. And Meriwether Lewis, even though he was nominally in charge, told William Clark, I don't care that the U.S. government won't make you a captain along with me. We are co-leaders. We are equal. There was a sense of teamwork that Lewis instilled, that Clark made up for some of his bad habits. He made up for some of Clark's shortcomings. They met the Shoshone Indians, which is where Sacagawea comes into the picture from. Not only an Indian, but a woman Indian was their guide. She had a child while they were on their way to the Columbia River to Oregon. So all of those pieces stand as a metaphor of when you realize what you'd planned on happening, planned on doing, isn't possible, what do you do? And that comes into the church world. What do? We keep doing the same thing over and over and over. And Bolsinger is saying, drawing from his own experience as a pastor and other places, he's saying, it's time perhaps we started experimenting. Why don't we recognize that the world has changed around us, culture has changed, and at that point, I'm going to bring in books like Phyllis Tickle's The Great Emergence, where she talks about the historical pattern of every 500 to 800 years, the whole world just turns on its head. And we are in one of those transitions right now. The Great Reformation of the 16th century was 500 some years ago. We're living through one of those transition periods. So the church doing just everything it's always done is insanity. It's not going to work. And that's part, there are a lot more pieces, but that's part of why we have worship on Sunday morning and 12 people show up, or 15, or whatever it is. Because we're living in a world where 250 people don't see church as the priority on Sunday morning. So what do? Do we double down? Do we just do it harder, do it better? Well, that's what some of you are saying. Do we buy the latest shrink-wrapped program? We've been trying to do that for 40 years, my entire career. It's never worked, and it's not going to work. So maybe it's time for us to start saying, we better think differently. The pandemic gave us an opportunity. I mean, we truly reinvented the church. We went online. People stayed connected. Maybe there's something to be said about that. I was astonished. Let me turn this around. I was absolutely astonished that these little videos that I call bonus sermons, when I started posting them on both church websites, I was amazed at the number of hits, number of views those videos had. Some of the videos I put up from here, there, wherever, I was astonished when they'd have 60, 70, 80 views within a week or two. People were obviously watching. I didn't get a whole lot of feedback. Then again, we're Presbyterians. We don't give feedback. We just talk to our friends in the parking lot if we're pissed off. Or we might say, hey, great, if we're okay with it. That's just the way we do things. But I can't help but wonder if maybe that's part of the puzzle pieces we're going to have to discover. Part of me doesn't want to do it, because when we went online and did videos every week for 2 years, it was exhausting. But we had people that stayed connected. So how do we merge both of those worlds? How do we do worship for a dozen people? How do we do other things as well? So some of those pieces, well, that's getting into week 3, 4, 5. We've got to do the homework. Bolsinger's book. We've got to go back to Phyllis Tickle's book. I'm going to bring in some of Brian McLaren's work from A Generous Orthodoxy and his book, The Church on the Other Side. Diana Butler Bass's book is one that I gave to a lot of folks. So we're going to talk about how she talks about the village church that she remembers is gone. The church of her childhood. And the new village church, they are different. How do we, especially in congregations like we are that are older, how do we begin to look at something, start to make inroads on something that most of us are not going to live to see completed? That's part of the challenge. And unfortunately, some folks are going to say, I don't want to. I think of the one member of Mulberry that, God rest her soul, I had conversations with her, and she over and over and over would say, I'm too old, I'm too old, I'm too old. I can't do this, I can't do that. That was her way of saying, I'm done, I'm not doing anything. And I continually had to retort back to her, but you're not dead yet. You know, you still have value. You have value to this congregation. I think you have value to God. But you got to do something. That's part of McLaren's work, part of Bolsinger's book, talk about missional focus. And we're going to have to really grapple with that. And that's going to hit both of our congregations right in the eyes. Because we're going to have to talk about what do we do outside of ourselves, not worship, not pastoral care, that's maintenance ministry. What do we do that is mission oriented? And right now, with the exception of one or two like dinners or things like this, what we're doing right now is a big fat zero. We're not doing anything. And we've got to rediscover that. So, let's get back to hiking. So let's go down here. Let's see what Raven Rock looks like. Danger, cliff, steep slopes. Okay. Oh man. Look at these steps. Going down is a pound. And that means I got to come back up. Oh well. Gonna get a little exercise. It's not just all sitting in front of the computer this week. No climbing or rappelling. Wow. That brown, if it's visible on the video, that is the Cape Fear River. Oh man, and that is like nothing but stairs. Holy cow. Wow. That's at least 100 feet, I guess. And I don't know if the cliff face over to my left is considered the Raven Rock. I think it may go down here and actually go around to the right, but I don't know. I'm going to find out. I came all this way. I guess I need to go for it, and that includes the steps, huh? Oh boy. Wow. I can already tell I dread going back up these. That may be the Raven Rock. I don't know. I saw pictures, though, where you can walk up under it. So it's like really, really undercut in areas. There is some significance. I believe in like Native American, but I'm not certain, lore to the name Raven Rock here. Wow, the river is really going. It's flat water here. There are rapids upstream and downstream, but the current's really moving. Here it is, over to my right, I guess. There's the undercut Raven Rock. Wow, that's kind of impressive. Big cliff. How cool. Proclamation of the obvious. End of trail. I guess so. You can tell from the phone, man, there's a massive current going today. Wow. Would be a fast trip paddling downstream today. Okay. I think it's time for a break, probably. I guess this is part of it too, but this is way undercut in here with some pretty massive rocks up above. What makes it so unusual is that this is something you'd expect to see up near Grandfather Mountain, Mount Mitchell, way up in the mountains. And we are all the way east. Literally, this river is where the Piedmont of North Carolina and the coastal plain intersect. So there's another fall line right here, and this big cliff just keeps going all the way around. Wow. That's pretty impressive. That tree with its roots all exposed. Huh. It's kind of awe-inspiring in a sense. Kind of tiring in one sense too. I don't think I'm going to go all the way around, but wow. That just keeps on going and going and going. Wow. Yeah. Okay. This is wet and slippery, so I need to be real careful on this and stay off of those rocks. This dry as a bone up under there. I don't know if I don't want to sleep under here or not, though. I mean, I'm going to assume that this is stable, but even just walking this close up under here, you almost get a little sense of claustrophobia, a little bit. Wow. How cool. Welcome to Raven Rock. Oh boy. That's where we got to go. I clicked up it online on Google Maps, and I was wondering, I got to keep clicking and clicking and clicking. Now I kind of know why. It didn't do it justice. Not at all. Okay. Man, I'd hate to have been the team that had to haul wood in here and build this. Wow, this is a lot of lumber to schlep in here, unless they floated it down the river. And if you're watching this video, you're hearing me blow a little bit. 65-year-old man, pretty much out of shape. This is pretty tiring. I'm getting today's exercise in. Feeling the burn, feeling the burn. Both legs. Oh, there's my bench. Yes, sir. That'll do. Wow. Climbing, that's a workout. Well, we're back to Raven Rock. We did the mile to the overlook and back. We're not going back down in the hole. It's time to head back down the trail and see if I can find my landmark and head back over to the campground and head back home. Had to change batteries. I ran through a whole battery and this one says it's only got about 60%. So I don't know if this is enough to get me all the way back to the camper or not. Oh, ow, that hurt. Boy, I really did jam my Achilles tendon back there. That's gonna smart by the time I get home and it stiffens up. Feel it tonight. Okay, here's my bridge, I think. Unless there's another bridge on up here. And there's going to be a blaze mark on the left. And that's where I head over and across. I wonder if there's another bridge, because I don't see the blaze mark. I mean, I got the creek right there to my left, so. I just want to find that place where it's easy to get across. It's real boggy in some places. No sense in ruining a pair of boots if I don't have to. Here's another bridge. I bet this is my spot. God, I could cross right there. Well, let's just hang on and look for the blaze. No. I think I'm there, actually, but it just doesn't look the same, so let's, yeah, let's go ahead and do it here. I can get across without getting wet. Okay, that's a big step up for a bad knee, but let's go that way. Oh man, that's getting old, isn't it? Okay. Now I just blazed cross country until I intersect the trail over here. And I want to go roughly exactly the way I'm headed, I think. Just about. Let's scoot around this way. It looks a little more open. And I'm angling out, so let's cut my angle over. That looked awfully inviting and open like a trail, but it was taking me away from what the GPS says is my direction. It's one of those situations where it looks too good to be true. Yeah, this is trail right shortcut. We should be right up on the trail. Actually, that may be it right there. There it is. Okay, we're back on our side of the water. Well, that tree is really wild. Huh. Wonder why that bark is like that. Looks like something's actually tried to saw on it or something. Huh. Right. I mean, I got a ways to go, don't I? Yeah, I do. All right, and it's gonna around to the left. Yes. All right. Now, there wasn't a bit of wind over there at the river, but I'm getting back over here on the campground side and I'm feeling the wind pick up. That's really odd. gonna get back and my legs are gonna be tired. That's for sure. Okay, here's the switchback. So, according to this, I am as close to the campground as it's possible for me to be. But there is sort of a gully, isn't there? Wait a minute. Hell, that's the bathhouse right there. All right, let's cross this and go up right here. Yeah, here's the gully right here. I see where I'm at. Sure do. Okay. So we're boondocking again, but not for long. Gonna be a slog uphill though, isn't it? Gosh. Oh yeah. Definitely gonna be that, man. All right. But I can see the bathhouse from here, so I'm coming right out on the campground road. That's good. Oh wow. Way more uphill than it looks. Oh, baby steps. Okay, there's the bathhouse, so I know where I'm coming out. And here we go. Yeah, that cut a lot out. That have been all the way around the horn. I'm happy about that. Okay. Back here at the campground. That's a gorgeous bathhouse. But at night, talk about light pollution. All the skylights and everything, that thing lights up like a neon sign. We got somebody's coming to a campsite. I guess he's gonna tent camp tonight. There's one of 6 or 7 sites down around the corner from me. So, I don't care. But we won't have the park to ourselves tonight. That hole down there was where I was afraid I was going to come out and have to scramble up that. Well, I still have to scramble up some of it, didn't I? But Wasn't as bad as it could have been when I came out. So that's good. And there's home. So, coming back to where we started from. I will have to go on Google Maps and see if I can estimate how far I hiked. I'd say it's probably going to be 3.5 miles, maybe. We'll see. Oh yeah, we got more neighbors back behind me tonight. Okay. A big fifth wheel camper. And we are home. Home sweet home, but didn't get wet. GoPro, stop recording.